I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
As somebody who studied history, um, I read a lot of history. So there was a war called the Second Punic War, where Hannibal was seeking vengeance from Carthage, and it's one of my favorite parts of history. I think it's around the year was 260 260 BC. Um, 260 BC. I think around that time period. Give or take a couple of decades. All right, give a couple of decades. Well, anyway, the Carthage War um, was one of the main wars of Rome, and this is why people need to stop quoting uh, the Chinese Sun Tzu, because Sun Tzu is only talking about wide range conflicts and so forth. The United States of America would not be a country if Sun Tzu was head of the military. Texas wouldn't declare independence and want independence from Mexico if they used the tactics of Sun Tzu. Because Sam Houston, who was the leader of the Texas Army against Santa Anna 1836, George Washington during the Revolutionary War, would have lost tons of battles if they had lost more battles than won. But the idea of going to war is not just to win; it's to deter the enemy. Do you understand? The enemy needs to know, if you f around, you find out, and not everything has to be a win. Not everything has to be a win. See, we here in the West, we watch too much movies where we're told narratives that, oh, it took one great strike and one big battle and everything was over with. That's not necessarily the case. But going back to cartilage, right? The invasion of Rome by Cartilage. Now Hannibal had elephants from Africa, because Cartilage is in Africa. So he got his elephants, his army of elephants, because elephants has greater mass and greater strength than horses, than the Europeans horses, and elephants can do. Uh, uh, Elephants were more of a battering ram. Um, Against Roman structure, European structures in walls and everything else. So when Hannibal began his invasion, he went into what we call Spain. The invasion started off in Spain, and a lot of the Romans were decimated one by one. Each major Roman city was conquered and decimated. So the Romans act the way they have always acted. They believe, the European structure at the time was like, well, let's just have this one big ass battle after another. Let's fight the enemy headstrong. With all the horses, the cavalry, and men on foot, they could not repel the Carthaginian, I hope I pronounced the word, the Carthaginian invasion. The Carthaginian invasion was not repelled. Men holding shields could not deter the might of the elephants, the horses, and men on foot. See, Cartilage did something that you might call combined arms warfare. He used every bit of military strategy, military items into a conflict. You see, some people. I know. Let me go ahead and do a sidebar argument. Let me do a sidebar argument on this. Right. Sidebar is some people just march in their army, right? Or their let me use the our war with the natives, right? Our war with the natives has always been United States Army against this particular Indian tribe, or we use our, it's just the army versus the Indian tribe. We never and and well, it makes no sense, but we never use the Marines. We never use well, we never normally use our Navy because guess what? The Navy is in the ocean and in the water, so therefore it's never a combined arms military force to wipe out the opposition. So Rome only had one way of fighting: is use the men on foot and what little cavalry, i.e., horses, that person have. So going after this big ass army that has horses, elephants, men on foot, they could not deter the invasion. So Spain, France, what we now call France, has been conquered. The Gauls, you know, some of those, if memory serves me correct, I think that parts of what what we call Germany was taken. So when Hannibal went into Rome, which is modern day Italy, he was terrorizing the countryside and then gobbling up towns and cities with his massive force. Rome, being idiotic, believed, let's just keep on doing the same thing. Let's just send an army in, an army here, and let's just keep sending waves and waves of armies because they believe that having a massive military, direct military raid, ways and ways of military uh, battles, you're just going to sit there and destroy an enemy. No, it did not. Then come the Roman Senate. What's going on, Queen? Then came the Roman Senate. There was a guy named Fabius Maximus. Fabius Maximus is one of my favorite people in world history. Okay, Fabius Maximus is my favorite people in world history. In the year of 200 BC or 250 BC, I forgot what year. It's in the 200 BC era. He said, y'all doing this wrong. Y'all fighting Hannibal wrong. Oh, shut up, Hannibal. You don't know what. Shut up. Hold on. Shut up, Fabius. The Roman Senate keep telling Fabius, you're wrong. We're going to send waves and waves of the Roman military to fight Hannibal. See, some people need to do the research. So when it's time, after all these losses, then they turn to Fabius Maximus. And then they say, Fabius, can you save the Roman Empire? Fabius did something that no other military commander of Rome have ever done concerning Hannibal. Because Hannibal is whooping everybody's ass on the battlefield. So he gathered up his troops. He gathered his own army, his own military command. But instead of directly fighting Hannibal, Fabius did something that you have to be, you have to use your brain. Fabius understands that in order to fight Hannibal, he knows what Hannibal has. And Fabius realized what he don't have. He knows that Hannibal, this man from Africa who's destroying European cities, he says, wait a minute, this man got elephants. What do elephants need? Because we don't got elephants in Europe. So Fabius sit and think, he pondered. Okay, this man got horses. This man got elephants. He's decimating our European cities. What do elephants need? Oh, food. What do men need? Food. Supplies, building material. So Fabius said, okay, well, we're not going to fight directly against Hannibal. So when Hannibal went to Fabius' plantation and destroyed the plantation, because because Hannibal ain't stupid. Hannibal ain't stupid. He knows what was about to happen, or he suspected was about to happen. So Hannibal went into Fabius' plantation, and he was trailing, because Fabius was trailing Hannibal. Fabius' plantation was destroyed. His women, his children was taken. His slaves was taken. His plantation of olive trees and fruits, his what's it called? What's it called where you plant trees at? You plant fruit trees, an orchard. His vineyard been burnt to the ground. Now Hannibal did that to lure Fabius out. Fabius did not took the bait. He didn't take the bait. Do you understand? So when that did not move Hannibal, when that didn't move Fabius, Fabius continued to go after the supply lines, because you still need, Hannibal does still need to feed the elephants. He went behind the enemy, and every time when there is a small depot or small trading post, he attacked the trading post. He attacked the nerve centers that feed and maintain the main invading force. If it wasn't for Fabius, Rome would have been African, not European, because elephants need food, horses need food, the Carthaginian the foot soldiers need food. Elephants can't survive in the cold climate of Europe. And that's how Hannibal lost. Well, that's one of the reasons why Hannibal was not successful in conquering Rome in the 2nd century BC. And it goes back to the 1700s. There was a guy that we all know in this country. He's on her currency. He's in our quarter. He's a man whose face is on the $1 bill. He was called the American Fabius. George Washington lost more battles than he won. Yet he is the father of the country. Why do you think George Washington crossed the Delaware? When those black Marines, yes, the United States Marine Corps was who helped Washington cross the Delaware were black men. Shout out to United States Marine Corps. 1775. Or was it 1780? I forgot what year it was. When he crossed the Delaware. That was no achievement. That was no victory. George Washington was getting his ass beat. George Washington was getting his ass beat that the black Marines helped him and Alexander Hamilton and future President James Monroe cross the Delaware. Because he was getting his ass beat. But Washington was doing the same thing. Now, on paper, it looked like Washington was getting his ass beat. But what Washington did, 1776, thank you. Christmas Day, 1776. Thank you, Queen. And what Washington did to Cornwallis's forces, that he delayed the actions of Cornwallis. Do you understand? See, George Washington was no fool, even though he was a slave owner and he was somewhat of a person who was an asshole. He was a slave owner and everything else, but yet though he noticed that he needed to use these black Marines to help him cross the Delaware, because he was getting his ass beat by the redcoats. But he destroyed the supply lines of the opposition, which is the British military. And then fast forward to 1781, the Battle of Yorktown. 1781. Cornwallis broke his sword. Well, not in person, but the British commander had to use one of his subordinates to break his sword in front of Washington because the supply lines was broken. He took the mighty British military and so that the British military needed supplies. So he took over the coastline. He took over the major road and transportation centers and dismantled it. The British could not feed itself on the American continent. Let's fast forward to 1836. Texas declared its independence from Mexico, right? Same story. A bunch of hillbillies from Kentucky, Tennessee, the Carolinas, the slave states, went into Texas and tried to claim Texas for his own. Even though Texas had outlawed slavery. That's something what y'all won't, that's not taught in school. Texas, when it was a part of Mexico, was an anti-slave area. But anyway, when all these white men from Tennessee and Missouri flooded into Texas and tried to establish their own republic. Oh, let me do a sidebar argument. Let me do a little sidebar. Do y'all know there was a black man who was president of Mexico in 1824 who outlawed slavery, and he himself was quote unquote deleted. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Tate, because her being a woman from Arizona, I think she talking about Arizona history. Yes, yes, there was a black man who was president of Mexico at the time, and they went ahead and deleted him when he ended slavery in Mexico. But anyway, let's get back to Texas history, because it's happened. This is running up to what's going on in Texas. So anyway, all these white men brought their slaves, and they brought their Southern, their Dixie things down here in Texas. So anyway, at the end of the society, he had enough of them people not paying taxes, those people not becoming Roman Catholic, and yes, they're not freeing their own slaves, right? So he decided to invade what we now call Texas. So we had this guy from Tennessee, who was the governor of Tennessee, by name of Sam Houston. Sam Houston said, "Hey, you might want to tear down the Alamo. Why y'all going to go into the Alamo and fight the military? Fight the Mexican military when that military is 10 times, no, it ain't 10 times. They're about 5 times bigger than us. This military force is bigger than us. There's 5 Mexicans to 1 white man. Okay, 5 Mexicans to 1 white man. So why are y'all trying to hold up at the Alamo? What you need to do is burn it down and move east." Well, the white guys, did not listen to Sam Houston, because they thought, well, we're gonna fight them in open battlefield. We're gonna fight them. The Mexicans in the open. So once they got crushed and they all got burned up, because the Mexicans stacked those white men like logs and set them on fire after it was all said and done. And then though the Mexicans did free the slaves. Oh, this is a history lesson to all you Negroes who being anti-immigrant. The Mexicans were freeing y'all black asses in Texas in 1835, 36, and 37. You might want to shut the hell up. I don't want to hear anything about y'all being anti-immigrant. Be quiet. But back to the point, right? See, I know my history. Y'all just come online, just say dumbass shit you got from somebody else. But anyway, back to the point I'm about to make, right? I'm about to make a point, but I want y'all to listen. So when Santa Anna destroyed the Alamo and destroyed the white man in what y'all call San Antonio, he said, "Where's the rest of the army?" You know, he got this big ass army. He said, "Wait a minute, where are the rest of these white Europeans at?" So he decided to divide up his army. He said, "Okay, you go to North Texas. You go along this force can go north. This force is going to go along the coastline, along the Gulf Coast. I'm gonna take the center part, and we're gonna march east." So all this time, Sam Houston was getting his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped here. He got his ass whooped over there. He got his ass whooped all over the state of Texas, right? Because he kept and so he said, wait a minute, I'm getting my ass whooped. My own soldiers is planning on killing me. They're gonna mutiny and kill me as well. So let me go down to the south. Let me go down to the place called Santa Ana. Mexican troops went to sleep because they're doing so much of the ass beating that the army could not fight anymore. So they went to sleep. Mind you, there's five Mexicans against one white man, one white Anglo. They thought, well, fuck it. We'll continue the ass beating tomorrow. So the white men send in a black woman wearing a yellow dress. Uh-oh. Do I need to talk about that? The yellow rose of Texas. So they send in this black woman wearing a yellow dress. If y'all ever heard the song called "The Yellow Rose of Texas," they're talking about her, right? So they send in this black woman with a yellow dress. She marched up into the Mexican camp, and she gathered intelligence. Went right back to where the Anglo force is at. Samuel told him, hey, I've done some reconnaissance. I've done some spying. I speak a little Spanish. You send me up in there. See, I'm glad people are doing their homework. I'm glad people are doing their own homework. Yellow Rose of Texas. The yellow is the color of beauty and justice. Oof. You know what? I might want to do a video on the Yellow Rose of Texas since this is Black History Month. Yes. We might want to do. I might want to do a video on that, the Yellow Rose of Texas, on that, because they won't show that part in the movie. I don't know why. Even that Alamo movie that made years ago, they never showed that part. Y'all put a black woman behind enemy lines, and she gathered all y'all's intelligence. She gathered everybody's intelligence. Oh, here's the size of the army. They're going to bed. The general, what's his so is his tent is here, and Colonel, what's his name, is tent is right here, and if you get your sniper rifles, you can knock off Colonel and Captain, the captain in the patrol on this side of the river. She went back over there telling them, because they looked at her like, yeah, because the Mexicans saw her as, okay, she must be a slave. Some of them even try to use her as a prostitute. Okay, so after she gathered her little intelligence for those 2 days, she went back. She went into the woods. Went back to where the white man was at, and told the white man, and do not come with me with the anti-black woman. I'm accusing black woman of being a traitor. No, I'm not. Don't you come in here with that bullshit. That's not the point of this video. So keep that shit to yourself. But back to the point. She gathered all the intelligence. So the white man woke up early in the morning, and then they start doing a surprise attack. Mind you, one white man against an army that's almost twice their size, if not more, at this point. And here we are. Texas is a state. Long story short, Texas is now a part of the United States. Long story short. But here is the main point I'm making this live stream. Well, there's 2 points. And I'm not going to reveal what the point is. The point is, just because somebody has a bigger following does not mean they're going to win. Okay? That's one point. Because I'm going to sound like a certain military general later on when he said this during the Civil War, our army may be small, but thine cause is mighty. My army may be small, but the cause is mighty. Don't act like you, because you have a following, you gonna tell me to shut the fuck up and take a seat. Or anybody who's small to take a fucking seat. No, Queen, I changed my mind. I'm not gonna tell people the point. I told half of a point. I changed my mind. I was gonna tell them a point, but no, that's not. I'm gonna let people figure it out for themselves. See, I want people to have their thinking caps on. People need to start to think. I'm gonna force some of you niggas to think. Some of y'all out here bumping your gums, and y'all think because you this and that, you think it's going to propel you to the next level when your foundation is kind of like that part in the Bible. How some of y'all thinking, oh yeah, I got me a mighty house. You might have a mighty house, There is a parable in the Old Testament. I forgot which book it was. But in the Old Testament, the Bible is about your foundation. One family built the foundation, built their house on sand, and their house went up so fast. The house looked good because he built the house, went 2 stories almost. Look how great my house is. He's telling his neighbor. Why are you still building a house? I built my house is bigger. My house is right by yours, and you still working on your house? I forgot the characters in the Bible, though. Y'all have to forgive me. I forgot the characters in the Old Testament. But the guy said to his neighbor, I'm going to pay you no mind. Because the foundation I'm building my house on is a brick in rock. It's a stone. So I have to chisel the stone to put the the the, the post in to make it and everything else. So when he finally built the house, it did not look much. It took a very long time for him to chisel to put that house on stone. One day wind came and it blew down the first man's house who built the house on sand. Oh my God. What happened? I thought the house was going to stay up. The house fell down. It collapsed. I'm homeless now. I should never make fun of my neighbor who built his house up on stone. See, you niggas in this space about to fall. And you don't even see it. You can make all them punk ass live streams you can do. But does any of what you say has any foundation of truth? That's my point. Anyway, I said enough. Um, if you can't get both analogies of, if you can't get both analogy of history and of in the fable in the Old Testament about what's about having things based upon the foundation, then if you can't get any of what I said, then you already lost. You're not even worth talking to at this point. So anyway, let me see, what time is it? Oh, it's 4:30. No, excuse me. Oh, it's 3:28. 3:28. Well, you know what? I'm gonna get off of here. I think I said enough, and I know what I said. I only have 5 people watching, but I think the 5 people who are watching are people who know how to think, and people who can sit there and see, um, can sit there and think long or hard. Because I want people to start thinking. Stop following. Start thinking. And that's my problem with black social media. Too many people around here are on this. Let me laugh. Let me do all this instead of thinking. You're not taught. You never was told to think. You was told to follow. You were told to clown. Yet you never told to, you know, y'all told to troll. Yet y'all never was taught to research. And that's been my number one problem with this space. Y'all always think everything has to be a joke. Life is not a joke. And y'all think what y'all saying is fun. Like, oh, I'm gonna SBE myself into money. Now I know now see, not understanding that what you're putting out is an infectious disease. And you know what? And you know what? I'm gonna do a video. I hope I have time. I hope I have time to do a video on femicide and how femicide, how the manosphere, or should I say, since the increase of the podcasters, the podcast community, uh, there's a correlation of femicide along with the anti-woman podcasters or red pill podcasters. I think that needs to be talked about. You know what's so sad about this? Something that happened on DJ Witch Doctor's channel a long time ago. This is about a month ago or so. I mentioned about femicide, how the manosphere, and the manosphere channels, with the increase of the manosphere channels, you start seeing an increase of femicide around the world. And I mentioned this twice, and I said, do you know who stopped me from talking about femicide, even though femicide is a real issue? One of you women did. Solely because you want to be seen as part of the in crowd. Now, I'm not the one who brought up the topic up, but since the topic came up, it's time to tell Big J to shut the fuck up. I think everybody should know that femicide is up. But because you want to be part of the in crowd, and because you want to be the center of attention, all I gotta say is, well, you know what? I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet. I hang in the back, and whatever. You know. And you say, who's in the chat room? Oh, okay. What's going on, Hammer Time? What? Yeah, Queen. A woman tried to shut me up, and she did. She did, because I ain't had time to say anything. She mad because she thought I was ruining the live stream by mentioning femicide. And I'm looking at it like, really? The topic that, now, I didn't raise the topic. I just told people what's going on because of the internet, the Andrew Tates, the Tate brothers, and Sneakos, the Fresh and Fits of the world. I said because of in the whatever podcast, look at the increase of those podcasts and look at the increase of women being assaulted and raped and murdered and everything else. But Big J's wrong though for for putting that out. When there is a UN study, you know, I might want to do a separate video on this. I want to do a separate video on this. You know, I got so many ideas I want to do, but I have a interviews coming up. I have an interview coming up tomorrow, hopefully. Either tomorrow or Sunday. So I might want to. I might never talk about this ever again, but you know, because it's so much I want to talk about, and I don't have that. I have little time. I have little time to go off on that. So anyway, that's all I gotta say on for the day. I'm gonna take me a shower because I gotta go to work. Oh yes, I gotta go to work, and I'm gonna take somebody's advice from last night. I'm gonna simmer down the best I can. I'm gonna simmer down the best I can. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna simmer down on that. But I hope people will read between the lines of what I just said. This last 45 minutes. I hope some of y'all read between the lines. But you know, some people they don't know how to read, don't know how to research. They just want to, you know, you know, they don't listen to they don't research. They just take what somebody else says and then they run with it. Anyway, um, George Washington and Fabius and Sam Houston would disprove what Sam Tzu was trying to preach. Sam Tzu or Samsung, whatever his name is. They disprove his military strategy. Anyway, let me get out of here. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, don't repeat things that somebody tell you. Do your own research. Because I just did. Big J out.
I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.